All right, let's talk about it. For literally years, the God Valley incident has been one of the biggest, most tantalizing mysteries in all of One Piece. A battle that completely reshaped the world and then, poof, wiped from the history books. Well, today, we're finally pulling back the curtain. This is the story of what really happened at God Valley.
And look, this wasn't just some skirmish on a random island. This was it. This was the final, earth-shattering showdown. A battle so massive, it brought one era to a violent end and kicked off the next. The entire world of One Piece that we know today, it all hinges on what went down right here.
I mean, Shikti the Golden Lion pretty much said it all, right? It's the end of the Rock's pirates. With just those few words, the most feared, most dominant, and probably most chaotic pirate crew the world had ever seen was just done, shattered. The age of Rock's D. Xebec was officially over.
So picture this. The battle's over, the dust is settling, and the survivors are picking themselves up. And who do we see? A young Big Mom, Kaido, Whitebeard. These are future emperors of the sea. Their supercrew is toast, and right here, in the rubble, they're each about to go off and start carving out their own legends.
Now, this is the part of the story that is just completely wild. The guys who took down Rocks, Gold D. Roger, and Monkey D. Garp. I mean, come on. These two are polar opposites, the Pirate King and the Marine Hero. They spent their entire lives trying to take each other down, but on this one day, for this one fight, they were on the same side.
So you gotta ask yourself, what in the world could possibly make these two titans team up? It had to be a threat so unbelievably huge that neither of them could handle it alone. It had to be a man whose ambition wasn't just to be Pirate King, but king of the entire world. Rox D. Xebec. See, what made Xebec so terrifying wasn't just his strength. It was his haki. His Conqueror's haki was on a whole other level. It wasn't just about intimidation or knocking fodder out. It was a literal physical force, a wall of pure willpower that could just erase an attack before it even hit him.
Just try to wrap your head around that for a second. Imagine your Goldie Roger or your Monkey D. Garp, two of the strongest guys on the planet. You power up your ultimate attack, you pour everything you have into it, and it just fizzles out into nothing. Their own legendary haki was being completely snuffed out.
So yeah, they were in a bad spot, a really bad spot. They could barely even land a hit on the guy. They quickly realized they had maybe one shot left at this. They had to put everything they had into a single, combined, all-or-nothing attack. And there were no do-overs. This was it. It wasn't about trying again later. If this one, final, desperate move failed to connect, they were both dead right then and there. That's the level of monster they were up against. Game over. Okay, so here's the play-by-play. Garp goes in first, just unleashing this insane barrage of giant hockey-infused punches. It looks so much like his grandson's future elephant Gatling. It's unreal. At the exact same time, Roger is pouring every last drop of his Conqueror's haki into his sword Ace. And then, bam! They strike together in perfect sync. And it connects. It finally works. They shatter Xebec's haki shield and land the decisive blow. The tyrant falls. But as he does, this dark, sinister energy just explodes from his body. It's like his pure evil and ambition were so powerful they couldn't be contained even in death.
But believe it or not, the story doesn't end there. Because as one legend falls, new ones always rise to take his place. And right there, in the immediate aftermath of the battle, you can literally see the seeds of the next great pirate era being planted.
In all the chaos, you've got a young Big Mom marching right up to Kaido, and she tells him, straight up, that he owes her a life debt, an eternal one. That single conversation, right there, that would define their entire relationship for the next 40 years, all the way up to their alliance in Wano. And then, over on another part of the island, there's a young Whitebeard. A man named Pologram, who you got to assume is Marco's father or something, comes up to him, says he's a huge fan, and asks to form an alliance. And that right there, that was the very beginning of the legendary Whitebeard Pirates family. So let's recap. Garp and Roger saved the world. They took down the single greatest threat it had ever known. You'd think there would be statues, right? Parades? A global holiday? Nope. Instead, the whole thing gets swept under the rug. Hidden, completely erased from history. Which, of course, leads us to the billion-berry question. If this was such a massive win for the world's government, why would they bury it?
Why would they go so far as to make the entire island of God Valley just vanish from every map? What were they trying to hide?
And the answer is absolutely bone-chilling. Because the order didn't come from some admiral or a Gorosei. It came from the very top, from the shadowy ruler of the world, Emu, sitting on the empty throne. And the order was simple and terrifying. Destroy and erase everything in God Valley.
Just think about what that really means. The cover-up wasn't just about hiding an alliance between a marine and a pirate. There was a secret on God Valley, something about Xebec, or the celestial dragons he was targeting, or maybe even the Void Century. A secret so dangerous that the absolute ruler of the world decided it was better to pretend the island and the battle never existed at all. And it really makes you wonder, what other truths are being erased right now?